Howdy and welcome to the Laptop Empire Show. My name is Mike Yonda and today I've got my 3 rules for marketing your business during a crisis. Obviously, things are crazy right now. All over the world, everybody's dealing with the impact of the coronavirus, and it's really had a big impact on business owners, but really everybody, right? I'm sitting out here on my porch right now because my kids can't go to school, so my family's inside. It's been raining all week this whole time, and so everybody's stir crazy and going insane, and coming out here on the patio with cars driving by, this was literally the quietest place I could record. But you gotta do what you gotta do. And so I'm out here, I wanna share my 3 tips for you to help you marketing and growing your business with all of this going on. So thing number 1, you need to change your messaging, okay? And that comes across in a lot of different ways. It's gonna be the kind of copy you use, what you're posting about, what you're emailing your list about, but even how you produce content. And so I'll start with kind of the imaging side of this, like right now. So here I am, I'm out on the patio recording a video. And this is a really good example of if you're producing content for an audience and maybe you have very highly polished, very professional looking content all the time, you're out next to Lamborghinis or whatever it may be, whatever it is that you do, you want to kind of tone things down. Going with a more organic feel, recording from your phone like this, from home, without all your makeup on, a little more selfie style, showing you're in the same position as everybody else, sitting at home, whatever it may be. It's not just this crisis, any crisis, being empathetic to your audience by showing you're going through the same thing is going to be helpful. So if they're sitting around at home in their pajamas, record one of your videos in your pajamas, do something, try to replicate what your audience is going through. It's going to help you're going to have a more sympathetic message with them. But the same thing has to happen with your copy, your offers, your messaging, everything you're doing. You need to be sensitive to what's going on. And that doesn't mean you don't sell, you stop doing business as usual, but you may need to change your messaging. Here's a really good example. We just recently opened our Facebook Side Hustle course. It's like our flagship course teaching people how to make money online. And generally our message is about creating more freedom in your life, right? You're able to do something that you can work from home. You can do it in your spare time. You can earn more money. So maybe it allows you to leave your job and work from home full time or, whatever, like the freedom that comes from having more income and more flexibility in your life. That freedom aspect is generally our message. But with everything going on right now, our message is kind of turned to be more about security, because that's what people need and that's what people want. And our course can still help people have a more secure financial situation. It allows them to have extra income. So if they experience something where they, they're hurting at work, or they're not able to work, or they lose their job or whatever, they have extra money. And a really good example of this happened this week with one of our clients, Tony, who's a DJ, and with everything that's going on with the coronavirus, all these weddings that he would be DJing have all been canceled or postponed. And so he had posted in our group how the couple $1,000s that he was making from his Facebook ad clients, it used to just be the cherry on top of his normal income, but now it's helping his family sustain during this period when he doesn't have any work, all right? So think about your messaging, what you're doing, and change it to be more empathetic to the situation people are going through and to be able to help them. If you can't shift your message, it's you're being tone deaf, your audience isn't going to appreciate it, you're going to lose the goodwill that you have with your audience. The second thing that you need to do in a crisis like this is you need to shift from money extraction to audience growth. Shift your focus, okay? It can't all be about selling all the time right now. You need to do more to build goodwill and to grow your audience. Right now, things like Facebook ads are cheaper than they've been because people are getting scared and they're pulling back. And so a lot of our clients that might have been paying $3 to $4 per lead are now spending $1 per lead. They're getting 3 to 4 times more for their money out of their advertising. And so we're leveraging that. We're taking advantage of that to grow our email lists, grow our audiences, grow our Facebook groups, grow our YouTube channels, whatever it may be, wherever your audience is. Focus on getting more people in. That might mean more top of funnel content, producing a higher frequency of content than you normally do. It might mean creating more lead magnets and giving more value to your audience at this time than you normally would, creating new resources. We see this, with a lot of, let's say, the gyms that I work with, where they're not able to have, a lot of them, they're locked down. They can't open their gyms right now. So they're using services like Zoom to do online workouts. They're providing grocery shopping guides, meal plans, recipes, guides, at-home workouts, They're providing all these new resources to help their current clients and still bring in new ones because people still have these wants, needs, and desires, even if it has to take a different form right now, okay? So be thinking value first. What can you be doing to help the people in your audience? How can you be giving value? Do you have any kind of content that you can give away for free? A really good example of this is digitalmarketer.com. They just opened their paid membership to everybody. And they're like, you're sitting at home, you don't have a lot to do. If you want to improve your skills, you want to learn something new, you can access these free resources for the rest of the month. That's giving value, and that's focusing on audience growth. They're getting more people, more email subscribers. They're building engagement. They're building trust with those people. And don't kid yourself, it's a sales place too. At the end of this month, or when things start to calm down, a lot of these people that have had that inside access and they've had that peak and they've built up this trust and they've gotten all this value from the trainings that Digital Marketer was giving away for free, a lot of them are going to decide to pay for the product. That way they can continue to have access to it going forward. So right now, they're building their audience, they're growing their audience, but they're also building trust and setting themselves up to have more sales down the road when things calm down. And you can do the same thing in your business. The third thing you need to do is don't pull back, or at least don't pull back too far. This is going to vary from business to business, but this is the same advice that I've been giving to my clients and the people that I work with on a consulting basis. I don't want them to pull back too far with their advertising budgets and their efforts, and I don't want them to completely stop selling because it's going to hurt them in the long run, right? I already mentioned to you that Facebook advertising costs are lower than they've been in 6 to 8 months because so many people have pulled back. So the people that are putting their foot on the gas and they're continuing to advertise, they're growing their audience faster than ever before. And a lot of them are still seeing sales. But what you have to worry about is if you pull back on your advertising efforts or you aren't selling still, obviously understanding you need to change your message. But if you aren't doing it, you're going to hurt yourself down the road. I had a conversation with one of my clients about this earlier this week, and he was wanting to turn everything off. And we talked about like, hey, right now I understand maybe you're going to be growing your list and you're not going to get as many front end sales as you normally would during this time, but you still want to advertise even though your revenue is going to dip a little bit. Because if you totally turn it off, then when you go to turn things back on, you will not have been growing and nurturing that new audience that normally comes in from your list. And so it's probably going to have a bigger impact because it's not the front end money on your advertising efforts that is really where you're profitable. It's warming them up and selling to them on the back end. And so what we decided to do after talking about it is he's going to continue advertising. He's going to pull back his budget a small bit, and he's going to really focus on his organic efforts. So he is going to experience where he's spending a little more and he's earning a little less. But since there's still people coming in, he's providing all this value right now, all of these things that he's giving away, all that value like we talked about earlier. Since he's doing all of those things, when things get back to normal, he's going to have that audience he's been nurturing, and he's going to be able to sell to them, and it's not going to cripple him down the road. So the worst thing you can do right now is pull back and cripple yourself down the road instead of doing the best you can to get through this situation, continuing with your marketing efforts. That way you're ready when the time comes, all right? And that kind of leads me to sales. Let's talk about sales real quick. I mentioned to you that we recently launched our course, even though all of this stuff was going on. We weren't expecting huge, like this big sales numbers like we normally would maybe, but we still had a really incredible launch. The new messaging worked really well, and we believe that it's still going to help people. So we have no problem doing that. And so you still want to sell because there's still going to be people that want to buy at a time like this. And it's really interesting. I've had friends that have been messaging me and showing like people that have been buying cars and posting about it on social media. Or one of my buddies even mentioned somebody in his community that had purchased a car and it was delivered to his house from the dealership. And it was like, wow, people are still spending a lot of money even with this stuff that's going on. And so if there are people out there looking to buy and you're not selling, someone else is going to be. And now you lost that potential income. So if you have a solution, there's still people looking out there. They're out there looking for it. Maybe not as many as normal, but they're still there. So make sure that you're there and your services are available to help those people. Yeah, maybe you're not going to have as big of a launch. Maybe you're not going to have as much revenue in a month, but you're still going to have some. It's going to be better than none, and you're not going to have those missed opportunities. And if nothing else, The people that aren't buying right now but are still interested, but they're just holding on because they're conserving money in this crisis, they are still, you have that touch point. I've talked about this before, but people often have to go through a huge amount of touch points before they purchase from you. I know in our business here at Laptop Empires, if somebody wants to buy one of our courses, they're going to consume 20 to 25 pieces of content, whether that's a video here on YouTube, it's an email, it's a blog post, it's a podcast. They're going to have all of these like over, 24 touch points before they end up purchasing. So we want to make sure we're continuing to make those touch points. We also know that when somebody comes in, they're usually going to go through 2 to 3 launches, hearing about our product, thinking about buying it, but not buying it before they actually do. So if you hold back from selling and you're not putting that out there, you're just slowing down the buying cycle for that person. Maybe if somebody's not going to take, if it's going to take them 2 to 3 launches before they buy anyway, well, maybe that person's already seen one. You put this one out, they weren't going to buy anyway. They saw a second one. Now they're going to be ready to buy this summer when you launch it a third time or whatever it may be. So just to recap, the 3 things that you need to be doing to market your business during a time like this. 1, be thinking about your messaging, both visually, what you're saying, the words you're saying, being sensitive to what's going on, making sure that you don't have a tone-deaf message, but that you're modifying your message to be appropriate to the times, right? So adjust that messaging. Number 2, make sure that you're focusing on audience growth instead of money extraction, okay? That means less selling, more growing, more value giving, more focusing on growing your list, growing your audience, growing your reach. This is a great time to be doing podcast interviews, to be creating lead magnets, to be putting great information out into the world, to entertain and inform people while they're bunkered at home. And thing number 3, don't pull back too much, right? Don't completely kill your ad spend. Don't stop selling. If you completely hit the brakes, you're going to be crippling yourself further down the road, even though you feel like you're conserving things right now. So find some sort of in between. Maybe you pull back a little bit, right? But you're still doing those things. Don't pull back completely. So those are my tips for marketing your business during a crisis. If for some reason you don't have a business yet or your business is suffering and you want to learn another way to bring in some good income, I highly recommend Facebook marketing. Go into the description, check out our free webinar. You can watch it, learn how to do this, and you can start taking on advertising clients. You might be thinking right now, okay, people aren't going to be advertising right now, especially local businesses. But what you got to remember is that when we get through this thing, when everything starts to calm down and return to normal, there's a lot of businesses that are hurting right now that they're going to need to get more customers and more leads in the door as soon as possible. And they're going to be depending on people like us that provide advertising and marketing services to come to their aid and help them just bring that stream of sales back in, okay? So this is a great time to learn. This is a great time to develop the skill so that you're ready to get back to your community and to help these businesses when the time comes, and of course, make some money for yourself as well. So if you want to learn how to be a Facebook marketer and get paying clients doing that, check out our free webinar in the description. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of our videos, and leave us a comment if you've got any questions. Let us know any tips or strategies you might have for managing and growing your business during this crisis. And I wish you all the best. I hope that you're all staying safe, staying home, keeping everybody healthy, doing that social distancing thing, for the good of everybody, and enjoying the channel. We've got plenty of content. I'm going to be putting out plenty more, so make sure you check it out.